As you move through the later chapters of your life, you start to see things differently. The lessons you've learned, the battles you've fought, the joys and losses you've carried, they all shape how you view the world. One of the biggest lessons? Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. You were probably raised to be kind, to give the benefit of the doubt, to keep the peace even when it cost you. But there comes a point when you realize your time, your heart, and your energy are treasures, not things to scatter freely to anyone who comes along. Kindness is beautiful, but it's not a one-size-fits-all gift. Sometimes it's a doorway that lets in people who don't respect what you've built. In this video, we're diving into 5 types of people you need to stop bending over backward for as you grow older. These aren't just passers-by or coworkers you barely know. These are often the people closest to you, the ones who share your holidays, your memories, your coffee table. But their behaviors, subtle or not, can chip away at your spirit in ways you might not notice until it's too late. By the end of this video, you'll recognize who these people are, understand why they drain you, and feel empowered to guard your peace without apology. Because your later years? They're not for carrying other people's baggage, they're for rediscovering your own light. Let's dive in. Number 1. The chaos creator. You know that one person who seems to thrive when everything's a mess? They don't just stumble into drama, they bring it. Every phone call is a crisis. Every visit feels like a whirlwind. And somehow, you're always the one left cleaning up the pieces. Think of someone like Clara, 74, who loved hosting her book club every month. She'd bake cookies, set out cozy chairs, and plan thoughtful discussions. But then, there was her friend Lila, who'd show up late, interrupt with personal rants, and turn the conversation into her own soap opera. One week, it was a fight with her landlord. The next, it was a family feud. And Clara found herself spending hours afterward calming Lila down, or apologizing to others for the derailment. At first, Clara thought she was being supportive. Lila needed her, right? But over time, she noticed something. Lila never asked about Clara's life, never showed up for her when Clara's sister passed away. The chaos wasn't random. It was Lila's way of staying center stage. Chaos creators don't always mean harm. Sometimes they're just wired for turbulence, and they lean on you because you're steady. But here's the thing, your stability isn't their personal playground. The older you get, the more you crave calm. Those quiet mornings with a cup of tea. Those evenings where your heart feels settled. When you keep letting a chaos creator into your space, you're trading that calm for their storms. And the cost adds up. You feel tired, not from age, but from carrying their weight. You start dreading their calls, not because you don't care, but because you know what's coming. It's okay to step back. You don't have to fix their messes or referee their battles. Your kindness doesn't mean signing up for a lifetime of their emergencies. Protect your quiet. It's not selfish, it's survival. Number 2. The memory hoarder. There's something comforting about old friends, the ones who knew you when your hair was fuller, your dreams were wilder, and life felt endless. But sometimes, those same friends can hold you hostage to the past. These are the memory hoarders, people who cling to who you were, not who you are. They don't celebrate your growth. They reminisce about the good old days and subtly push you to stay that version of yourself. Picture Harold, 80, who reconnected with his high school buddy Tom after decades. At first, it was nostalgic, talking about old pranks, first cars, summer nights, but every time Harold mentioned his new hobbies, painting landscapes, volunteering at the community garden, Tom would laugh it off. You, an artist? You're the guy who couldn't draw a stick figure. Or volunteering? Man, you used to hate early mornings. Harold started feeling like his present self wasn't welcome, like he had to perform his 18-year-old self to keep Tom happy. Memory hoarders aren't always cruel. They might genuinely love those shared moments, but their refusal to see you now can feel like a quiet rejection. They don't cheer for the ways you've healed, changed, or bloomed. They want the old script, the one where you play a role they're comfortable with. And that can hurt, especially when you're older and finally embracing parts of yourself you hid for years. You've earned the right to evolve, to try new things, to be more than your past. If someone only loves the ghost of who you were, they're not loving you. You don't have to shrink back into an old version of yourself to keep them close. Let them keep their memories. You're allowed to make new ones with people who see the light in your eyes today. If you're finding this helpful, drop number 2 in the comments to let me know you're with me. Number 3. The energy vampire. Some people don't just take your time, they take your spark. You start a conversation feeling upbeat, but by the end, you're exhausted, heavy, like someone pulled the plug on your joy. These are the energy vampires, and they're tricky because they don't always seem negative at first. They might be charming, talkative, even funny, but their presence leaves you drained, and you can't quite put your finger on why. Consider Evelyn, 77, who had a neighbor, Mark, who'd stop by unannounced to chat. Mark was full of stories, his travels, his grandkids, his opinions on everything. Evelyn liked him, but after every visit, she'd feel foggy, irritable, like she'd run a marathon. She realized Mark never asked her questions, never paused for her to share. He'd talk over her, pivot every topic back to himself, and leave her feeling invisible. Energy vampires don't always mean to sap you. They might just be self-absorbed or unaware. But intent doesn't change impact. At this stage of life, your energy is precious. You don't have the reserves you did at 30, and you shouldn't have to spend them recovering from conversations that feel like one-way streets. Protecting yourself doesn't mean cutting these people off entirely. It might mean shorter visits, firmer boundaries, or redirecting the conversation to balance the give and take. You deserve to walk away from interactions feeling lifted, not depleted. Your light is worth guarding, so don't let anyone dim it just because they're too busy chasing their own. Number 4. The promise breaker. There's a special kind of disappointment that comes from someone who says all the right things but never follows through. These are the promise breakers. People who dangle plans, support, or connection in front of you, only to vanish when it's time to show up. They're the ones who say, "Let's get together soon," but never call, or "I'll help with that project," but leave you scrambling alone. Take George, 81, who had a cousin, Diane, who was always full of grand ideas. She'd promised to visit for his birthday, plan a family reunion, or bring over her famous pie for dinner. George would get his hopes up, tidy the house, wait by the phone. But Diane would cancel last minute. Work was busy, or she forgot, or something vague. Each time, George felt foolish for believing her, like he'd been strung along by his own optimism. Promise breakers erode trust, not with loud betrayals, but with quiet letdowns that pile up. They might not see the harm. After all, they're not lying, they just don't deliver. But their flakiness sends a message. Your time, your feelings, your expectations don't matter. As you get older, you realize how much those small moments, a shared meal, a kept plan, mean. You don't have endless tomorrows to wait for someone to show up. You deserve people who match their words with actions, who value your trust as much as you do. It's okay to stop chasing those empty promises. Let them go and make room for the ones who show up when they say they will. If this resonates, comment number 4 below. I'd love to know you're here. Number 5. The spotlight stealer. You've probably met someone who can't stand to let you have a moment. You share good news, a new hobby, a small win, a happy memory, and they swoop in with a bigger story, a better achievement, or a way to turn the focus back on them. These are the spotlight stealers, and they can make you feel like your joy isn't worth celebrating. Imagine Louise, 79, who started writing poetry after her husband passed. She was shy about it, but proud when a local library published one of her pieces. At a family gathering, she shared the news, her voice trembling with excitement. Before anyone could respond, her sister-in-law, Rita, jumped in. "That's sweet, Louise. You know, I used to write for my college paper. Got front-page stories all the time." The table moved on to Rita's tales, and Louise's moment slipped away, unnoticed. Spotlight stealers don't always realize they're doing it. They might think they're just relating or keeping the conversation lively. But their need to outshine you can leave you feeling small, like your victories don't count unless they're the loudest in the room. In your later years, you've earned the right to take up space, to share your pride, your stories, your quiet triumphs without someone elbowing you out of the light. You don't have to fight for attention or beg for validation. If someone can't share the stage, it's okay to step away. Surround yourself with people who clap for your wins, who listen when you speak, who make you feel seen. Your joy deserves its own spotlight. Don't let anyone steal it. Final thoughts. As we wrap up, take a deep breath and ask yourself, are any of these people in your life right now? Are you giving your time, your heart, your energy to someone who leaves you feeling unsteady, unseen, or undervalued? The truth is, you've lived long enough to know what real connection feels like. You've loved deeply, lost bravely, and built a life worth protecting. Your kindness is a gift, but it's not an obligation. You don't have to keep pouring into people who don't pour back, who dim your light, or who make you question your worth. These years are for savoring the good. Sunsets that feel like promises, laughter that warms your bones, moments where you feel fully yourself. You have every right to choose who shares those moments. If that means closing the door on someone who's been in your life forever, that's not betrayal. It's courage. It's love for the person you've become. So reflect on this. Maybe jot down one change you want to make. Who can you step back from? Who can you invite closer? Your peace isn't just a hope. It's a choice. Thank you for spending this time with me. If something in this video spoke to you, drop a comment below and share what hit home or how you're going to protect your peace. Your voice matters, and reading your thoughts inspires me to keep going. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. Your support helps us create more content to uplift and empower you. Here's to choosing peace, choosing joy, and choosing you. I'll see you in the next video.